So, sir, can you please give us a brief introduction of yourself and the association with JCU?
No, sure. Hi, my name is Det Fisher. I'm the Director of International and Marketing at James Cook University's campus in Singapore. That means I have responsibility for what we call the student experience, the whole of university experience, for students from the time that we first meet them somewhere in India to the time that they go through the admissions process, what happens to them at the campus, and then when they become alumni in the future.
Okay. So, sir, Singapore is, as a country is looked upon as a tourist destination. So, can you give us an education perspective on it?
Yeah. In the past, Indian students have always wanted to be part of the global workforce. They see that as a job, a career in the future and where they want to be. And in the past, I think they've probably thought about places like Europe, like America, like Australia as the places to go. But I think, like most people in the world now, they've come to the position that the next century is going to be the Asian century. Places like India and China are really going to become the power brokers of the world. And the Indian students want to be part of that. So the destination is now Singapore. Singapore because they get a guarantee of a good quality education in Singapore. James Cook University, top 4% of universities in the world, operates with one of its campuses out of Singapore. So I think that Indian students are saying, this is my opportunity now for the future to go there, get a high quality MBA or good undergraduate program, and then stay in Asia and pursue my career.
Okay. So, sir, how popular is Singapore? If you look at as an educational hub, how popular is Singapore? Because Australia, Indian students have been going there and it's pretty popular.
Oh, look, if you're going to study overseas, there's about 4 places that you can go. You can go to America, you can go to England and Europe, you can go to Australia and New Zealand, you can go to Singapore. And there's really no other options, there's a few other different countries, but they're the big 4. I think in general that America still probably remains the top destination. The American universities are quite aggressive in their marketing, and I still think that's the top destination. But Singapore is growing rapidly as a destination, and it's moving up to be one of the most popular now because of its positioning in Asia.
Okay. So, sir, do you plan for any international campuses?
Any more international campuses? No, we don't, and there's a reason for that, and it's about quality. Running an international campus outside of Australia is difficult from the perspective of getting good quality facilities, good quality academics, and maintaining the quality that we have in our home campuses. So as a university, we've set up in Singapore. We're very happy with our academics there. We're very happy with our staff there. We're very happy with our facilities. And so we're going to focus on making that the campus for Asia.
So, sir, give us a background about JCU.
JCU, Australian Government University. That means we're funded by the Australian Government to provide high quality university education to the students of Australia. But we're also an international university, and since 1970 have been providing exactly the same high quality programs to people from all over the world. And we've had many thousands of students come to our university, including a very large number of Indians. James Cook University is ranked in the top 4% of universities in the world. It essentially means it's in the top 400 universities of the world, judged on our academic excellence and our teaching excellence, and we're very proud to have that reputation.
So, what are the courses that JCU is offering?
In the main, our courses in Singapore are around the areas of business, information technology, psychology, accounting and education, and tourism and hospitality.
Okay, so how many students are presently there at JCU?
At the moment we've got somewhere between 2,800, 2,900 students. Okay. It's interesting, we started in Singapore in 2003, And in 2003, we had just 34 students. And now, 10 years later, we're approaching 3,000 students. And we know that by 2015, we'll be approaching 5,000 students. So we're very, very pleased with our growth rate in Singapore. And more importantly than that, we're very pleased to be able to have helped that many students get high quality degrees and then with them pursue their job, their career and their future.
So why do you think that students should join JCU Singapore?
Well, first of all, it's an Australian government university, so there's a guarantee of quality. Secondly, it operates out of Singapore, which is very much closer to India than Australia is, and has the added advantage of the Singapore dollar being nowhere near as strong as the Australian dollar, and on that basis the course is probably 30% cheaper than exactly the same course that you get in Australia. So in the end, you get the same result, but it costs you less. So that's a good thing for Indian students, many of whom are coming on a bank loan. But I think the other advantage is what I was saying earlier about the notion of the Asian century, that Singapore is very much a hub for Asia, and that Indian students want to be part of that century. They see it as an opportunity for them to be a major player in the Asian century. So staying in Singapore, I think, now has an advantage to them that they perhaps wouldn't have had 5 or 6 years ago.
So why have you chosen India out of all the countries for offering scholarship?
Yeah, I think that's the nature of the Indian students. Our courses are quite expensive, there's no doubt about that. If you want to offer a world-class university course, then they're not cheap to deliver. So we're forced to charge a reasonable amount of money for our courses. In many of the markets that we operate in, the students that we deal with come from middle to upper class students, and that they have access to a level of resources which allows them to come. India is slightly different than that, in that almost every one of our Indian students will come on a bank loan, and so clearly they don't have the same level of resources that other people might have. And our intent of a university is to give people a better life through education. So the more people that we can get into the program, then the better we are operating as a university, the better we're meeting our own targets in terms of helping people to the university program. So we see India as a good place for that, because it's a place where perhaps some people who, if they didn't get scholarships, maybe they wouldn't be able to come. We just see that as a much better option than some of the other places where students are going to be able to come anyway.
Okay. And so what are the benefits for students?
The scholarship?
Yeah.
The scholarship will provide some fee relief to the total tuition cost of the program. So the fee relief will be at a minimum of a one subject fee waiver and maximum of 50% of the tuition fees. I need to say though that the majority of the scholarships are at the lower end of the scheme, and the reason for that is we want to help as many people as possible. If you have it all up at 50%, then you're not going to help many people.
And so what about the employment opportunities for students?
Look, the employment opportunities will vary from time to time. They vary according to demand, they vary according to government policy and so on. What we're more focused on is the idea of giving students the skills to get a job. I talked before briefly about the student experience. Our experience is more than just a study program. It's a whole range of opportunities to grow as a person, to get some skills, to be able to present yourself to the world, because in the end, getting a job's a competition. You need to be best placed to get that competition. So what we're seeking to do is to graduate students with a range of attributes. Those attributes are designed to be attractive to employers, so that when you present yourself, you're the one that's going to get the job. So what we're really trying to do is to prepare Indian students for the global workforce, so that they have opportunities not just in Singapore, but perhaps back in India or anywhere else in Asia where there are opportunities. So it's not really about, am I going to get a job in Singapore? Some will, some won't. But it just depends on the opportunities that are available when they graduate.
Okay. And so the students who are already there, like this is the fifth
Yes.
time, right? So what about them? I mean, what I actually mean to ask is, which is the most sought after course? That
Oh,
they are-
MBA.
MBA.
Almost. Look, of all the Indian students that come to our university, 85% of them have already got an undergraduate degree, most often in engineering, and they come and do an MBA. Some will do an MIT, information technology, some will do accounting, some will do tourism and hospitality, but in the main they will do an MBA because there is a belief in India that an MBA is a very good qualification which will get you ready for that really good job. And it will too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that belief. We are just of the view though that you need more than just a qualification. This is about a whole set of skills or attributes that you need, and that's what we're focused on giving students.
Okay. And so, how many foreign nationals do you have at present at JCU?
Look, we've got an enrolment of somewhere like 2,800, that kind of number. The big four are India, Indochina, China, and Singaporeans. Yeah. But we also have students from around 50 other countries of the world. Okay. Some from Asia, but we've got a nice group of kids from Europe, Germany, France, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Kazakhstan, Moscow, Spain, Italy, and so on. We have students from America, we have students from Australia. And it's a great thing. It's a great thing because it means that students can come, Indian students can come, they can be familiar with other Indian students, they can live with them, they can work with them, but they can meet someone from France, they can meet someone from Germany, they can be friends with someone from Italy or America or Australia. And if you think about this global village idea, that's a good thing. That's a terrific thing because when they present to a French employer, for example, as they might be in Singapore, then they have some understanding of the French culture. Then they'll know how to react to what's going on. So we see this kind of multicultural focus of our campus as being a really good thing for our students, and we work hard to make sure we maintain that large number of countries on the campus.
Okay. How many Indian students are presently in the campus?
About 500.
500.
About 500. As I said, they're one of the big four.
Okay.
Just make one other comment about our multiculturalism. In every subject which you do at our university, you have to do a presentation. Presentations are usually done by groups of 3. We have a rule: only one nationality can be represented in every group. So you can't have a group of 3 Indians. Okay. You've got to have a group of an Indian and maybe a French person or a German or a Chinese or whatever, And that's really good because it gets students first-hand opportunity to understand how a Chinese person studies and works, or how a Russian person works and studies, and that's the kind of thing that makes the experience, that gives them the skills that in the end will get them the job, the career in the future.
So talking about the scholarship,
yes.
Is there any entrance fee or something for students to write this?
No. We don't charge for it. We don't see it as something that we want to charge for. As I say, what we're looking to do is to give students an opportunity. And if you set a fee, well then you're cutting out some students to start with. So we're not charging for it.
Okay. So what is the eligibility criteria for the students to write this entrance?
Look, in the end, you have to be eligible for entrance into the university, and there is a set of standards around that. If you're talking about a postgraduate program, then you have to have an undergraduate program from a recognised university, and you have to show English capacity. If you're talking about an undergraduate program, you have to show English capacity, you have to show financial capacity, and you have to have done 12 years of schooling. Okay? So they're really the entrance requirements for the university. In the end, you can't use the scholarship unless you can go to the university. So what happens is that you'll come and do the test. Some will be lucky enough to get a scholarship, and then they can apply. Then they apply for entrance into the university. They get in, they can use their scholarship.
Okay. How much tuition fee does this scholarship cover for PG, UG?
It varies. It varies according to the nature of the scholarship that we give out. As I said, I think earlier, the minimum amount will be one subject fee waiver, and there will be a very few up around the higher end of 50%. But this is about helping as many people as we can, so we try and keep it down to the lower end. One of the problems about scholarships is that you fund them from your fee revenue that you get from other students, and we use that fee revenue to put into the program and deliver as high a quality program as we can. So if you take money away from it to give to a small number of students, in a sense you're disadvantaging other students. So we've got to balance that all the time. We've got to balance our want to help students with our need to provide the best quality program we can.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.